Today I will be analyzing The Silence of the Lambs movie poster. The Silence of the Lambs is an American psychological horror film from 1991. It was adapted from Thomas Harris's novel of the same name and was directed by Jonathan Demme. This thriller involves a young FBI agent named Clarice Starling as she interviews the imprisoned Dr. Hannibal Lecter, a psychiatrist and cannibal serial killer, whose insight might help apprehend information on a different killer known by the nickname Buffalo Bill. Buffalo Bill was a tormented man with a lot of self-hatred. This resulted in him wishing he was a woman, because that would be the complete opposite of himself. This is why he killed, skinned, and wore the skins of his female victims. This movie poster uses symbolism to help establish a feeling of horror and mystery. I'm going to start by pointing out that the woman's eyes are red, having a negative connotation and relating to blood, violence, and danger. The color white is known to symbolize innocence and goodness, as the white skin on the female in this movie poster most likely symbolizes that is an innocent victim, much like the other victims throughout the movie. In this poster, there's also a black background. The color black is a representation of death, fear, and mystery. The color of the moth and the name title is orange. Orange has a lot of different meanings, but a darker shade of orange could mean deceit or distrust. Orange could also possibly symbolize the vulnerability of the women in this movie. The movie title is also in complete lowercase letters. This could be because they want the viewers to pay attention to the face on the poster rather than the title. This could also be alluding to the name of the movie, Silence of the Lambs, because uppercase letters are most likely related to shouting and yelling and loud, while lowercase is more related to quiet and whisper and silence. A moth can be seen covering a female's mouth on the movie poster. Not only does this suggest mystery, it also alludes back to the title of the movie, Silence of the Lambs, as the moth is silencing the woman. The moth could also be symbolic of the transformations that the character must go through during the film. As an example, Clarice must change to conquer her fears and foes, much like how a moth will change from a larvae into a moth. The moth on this poster isn't just any old moth. It is a death head moth, and it is known to be an omen to death. There appears to be a skull on the body of the moth, which could represent all the death that will be found in this film. However, if you take a closer look at this skull on the moth, you'll see it's not actually a skull at all. Rather, it is a bunch of naked women piled together to form a skull-like shape. The depiction of women as a skull was not an original idea of the Silence of the Lambs creators, as an Italian artist took this photograph years before. This is the original portrait. The usage of women to form a skull rather than just using a normal skull can be a representation of how Buffalo Bill treats women and their bodies in the movie. Doing something as simple as using a moth on the movie poster not only alludes to what might be in the movie, but it also gives the movie a negative vibe. As a butterfly has a positive connotation, moths are known to have a negative connotation. The paleness of her skin, plus the expression on her face, can be representing the abundance of lifelessness in this movie. It also gives the viewers a cold and dark feel to what the movie is going to be like. This photo was taken in low lighting purposely to create a shadowy effect on the skin. The shadowy effect of the black background on the white skin makes a somewhat of a blue hue, and the colors red, blue, and black are mainly used in horror film posters. The shadowy effect also creates a cold and eerie feeling for the viewers. It is obvious that the woman on this poster is the protagonist, Clarice. However, due to the lighting of which this photo was taken, half of the face appears slightly different than the other half. One nostril is bigger, one eye is slightly misshapen, and thanks to the shadows, a stronger jawline is present. While it may just be because of the low lighting in this picture, it could also be showing half of the face as the protagonist female Clarice and the other half of the face as Buffalo Bill. Buffalo Bill liked to skin his female victims and then wear their skins. That can also be seen as a hint to what will take place during this movie. Silence of the Lambs has a reputation of artistic triumph and has been called a horror masterpiece. This can be seen in the movie poster itself. This expert piece of subliminal messaging was crafted to not only gain the attention of viewers, but to also instill an ominous and scary feeling in them. This movie poster hinted at what might take place throughout the film, while also allowing people to see the genre of movie it was, which is horror, without actually watching it. It did so flawlessly. I viewed this movie poster through a new criticism lens, as I picked apart the complex and separate features in it. Thank you for watching, and I hope I helped you realize something that you didn't notice before.